Before we get started with tonight's programming, I would like to remind everyone watching that both of us have not seen the Taylor Swift Eras movie. So if you could please hold off on any spoilers in the chat, thank you. What is going on, everyone? It is Wednesday night. That means it is time for the tagline here on the Cinefanatics. My name is Robert Adams.
I'm Chris Adams.
I was watching that mute, like, is it going to unmute? Is it going to unmute? Is it? Oh, yes, the tagline, the show where the tagline is the title. This is our weekly live stream show where we get to talk about some movie news, and we very much appreciate every one of you who are here watching this as we're producing it. Sure. Anyways, as we're already on a strong foot tonight, let's talk about this. As we typically do, we've got the YouTube things that we have to cover. Streamlabs.com/Cinefanatics. You got any questions, comments, issues, complaints, or if you would like to see us continue to have lights on while we do these things, Streamlabs.com/Cinefanatics would be a good place.
Just stream from a place that has a roof.
Yeah, that would be a good place. Thank you. So also patreon.com/Cinefanatics. If you feel like we are worthy of your support and you have the means to do it, hop on the tier. It's good for you. We only have two tiers, a $1 tier and a $5 tier. So hop on one of those. That would be great. Thank you. The $1 tier does give you access to our Discord, and the $5 tier gives you access to movie watch-alongs and trivia hangouts once a month. Speaking of which, tonight happens to be our movie watch-along. So after the tagline tonight, roughly about an hour after it's over, so it'll be about 8 Pacific, 11 Eastern, we will be doing our monthly watch-along of Psycho, the original 1960 Psycho, not that abomination that Gus Van Sant did back in 1998.
What movie?
Psycho. Yeah. I believe that's also someone's first time watching it.
Yeah, maybe someone who shows up to watch along will be watching it for the first time.
Yeah. So, again, I joked about it on Twitter. I was like, this continues our yearly tradition of making my brother watch a horror movie in October.
Don't make promises that this is a yearly tradition, because at some point we're going to run out of horror movies that I'm actually into watching.
No, I'm just going to slowly get you to start watching like gorier and gorier horror movies so you become desensitized.
I promise you that's not going to happen. I will literally put every dollar of money I will ever make in my entire life on it.
So make sure you subscribe and follow us, so in the next like 20 years we could get my brother to watch Reanimator and Society and
every dollar I will make in my life will be put on the fact that I will never watch some of these movies.
50 years from now, we'll finally hit the Terrifier franchise. So
incorrect.
I mean, it would be nice to still be running a YouTube channel in 50 years.
I'm going to be honest with you. I hope not.
What? I got to edit in the Final Cut? Remember we used to edit in the Final Cut?
I am 34. You're older. In 50 years, I will be 84. You'll be older. I'm good. We'll be retired by then.
Feel free to do the math on that.
Now, what would be nice in 50 years is to have a product and a channel that somebody else will have taken over and will be running with by that point. But until then, it's our smiling faces. Well, mine and whatever the hell that is. Yep, exactly. Bingo. Whatever the hell that is.
Anyway, so the movie watch along is tonight. So come join us as we watch Psycho.
Oh yeah, it'll be my first time watching Psycho too.
Yeah, should be a lot of fun. Anyways, upcoming shows. So I don't know if did I say last week that I was canceling all the marquees or
no, I think by the time we did Tagline, you determined that you were still going to be good to go for the secondary one this month.
So yes, there is one marquee this month. It is going to be on Friday, October 27th at 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern, and we will be tier ranking horror movie villains. So expect to see us debating Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers, and more. I believe I've got that list pretty well pretty well completed now. So I believe we have like about 23 horror characters that we're going to run through.
That's insane.
Yeah. So the nice thing is we're not sitting here like elaborating on like movies and how a movie made you feel. It's just really a completely opinion-based reaction as to how do you feel about Freddy Krueger type of thing.
I want to see this list.
It is not fully. I still have to work on it on your for you to see, but whatever.
Ooh, look at those names. Oh my goodness. Wait, one of these is a spoiler for the movie we're watching tonight. No.
Yes, but I mean that movie came out in 19. I saw this on Twitter earlier. Someone actually said that. They're like, they spoiled the ending of Psycho for me. Like, that movie came out in 1960. You don't have any freedom to talk.
I will let you know that I'm pretty sure that I have heard of every single one of these at some point or another.
Yeah. I was going to say, even if you didn't actually know or remember the ending to Psycho, the second you see it, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, that's right. I did already know that.
Not 100% certain where that last one comes from, but that's not important.
What's the last one? What was the last one?
I'm not spoiling it.
Oh, okay.
It's somebody that has a body part that is like a vegetable of some sort.
Oh, yes. Okay. That comes from the movie that's named after that character.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah. Same name.
That's weird. I didn't know leather was a body part.
Yeah. It's a leather face. Yeah.
Also, never mind.
Anyways, so yeah, October 27th, 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern, we will be tier ranking horror villains. I have 2 guests since this one won't be a part of horror movie.
Hell no.
I do have 2 guests with me, and we will be announcing everything next week on Tagline. So,
yeah,
I believe.
I may pop in the chat for that.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So I urge everyone to come watch that live.
I will be streaming on my streaming channel at the same exact time. So if you're not into horror movies and you want some counter programming from us, I'm kidding. I'm not going to be doing that.
You're going to do a live reaction to your own like movie channels ranking. You're like,
that's not where I would put Freddy Krueger.
Yeah. Like every single one of these horror characters, you're going to put F. It's a horror villain, F.
I don't know. Are the white people from Get Out on that list? The S tier. Why? You got to ask.
You get up there with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
That only makes sense if you've been on our Twitter and have seen the thing on Twitter today. You're making a reference to something that people don't know.
If you haven't seen Twitter, they revealed like the Madame Tussauds, I guess, like wax statue of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And I think it's the lighting and the way the photo was shot. He looks pasty white. He looks whiter than I do.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I'm pretty
whiter than you.
Anyway, so like the whole picture is just floating around Twitter with people going, something's not right about that. Yeah.
This is your shade of white.
It's so funny. Anyways, movies watched over this past week. What have you watched, Chris?
Zip.
Nothing.
I rewatched Crazy Stupid Love. I don't need to talk about that. It's a good movie.
That's always a good movie.
I did finish Only Murders in the Building, but that's not a movie. That's a TV show, and you all should still watch it anyway.
Crazy Stupid Love. Yeah. So that was the one that had what's her face? That is I'm gonna be careful with this because I don't know if she's what's her face.
Leo Tipton.
Yeah. She's the villain in that Riddle of Fire movie that I saw at Fantastic Fest.
I believe they go by they now.
Okay. Yeah, I know that there was a name change. I just can't remember if there was a pronoun change.
The babysitter in the movie.
Jessica. Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, Leo Tipton's really good in Riddle of Fire.
Yep. So. I say yep like I've seen it.
That's again Riddle of Fire and Last Stop in Yuma County. That's the 2 I'm gonna be constantly singing the praises of that everyone needs to watch out for.
Jeremy in the chat seems to have watched a Radiohead song.
So you watched Creep. That was the one with Mark Duplass where he's where he's the guy that's getting like his final moments of his life filmed, and he enjoys that wolf mask. I saw that like a couple of weeks ago, and yeah, that was weird. That was definitely creepy.
I have a song in my head that is not Radiohead. Was it TLC?
So I creep.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the song that pops in my head every time I see the word creep. Not Radiohead.
The TLC song.
I don't know. Does that make me a product of the 90s? I don't really know. What else did you watch?
So I watched for the first time over the past week. I finally watched the first Insidious movie. As much as I like horror movies and James Wan, I have not touched the Insidious movies at all.
Fun fact, I've actually been ahead of you on that one.
Yeah, you saw like randomly you've seen the second one.
I've seen the second Insidious. I haven't seen the first one. I haven't seen any others. Are there more Insidious past the second one?
There's like 4 of them now, 4 or 5.
Wouldn't have known. Can't remember what happened in the second one, even though I know I've seen it.
Yeah. Anyway, so I saw the first one. It was okay. It was decent. Kind of a cool idea. I don't know if I like the execution, because there was definitely a lot of times while I'm watching that, it's one of those like you're screaming at your screen like close the door. There's a part where like the home alarm goes off, and Patrick Wilson's character opens the front door, turns off the alarm system, and then walks away. And I'm like, close the door.
People do that in movies all the time. They always leave doors open. They walk inside. It's raining outside. They walk inside, and then they just go straight to drying off. And it's like, why did you not shut the door behind you?
Yeah. Normal
people close doors. My bathroom door is closed. I'm the only one who uses this bathroom. It's not open right now.
You just don't want to let that bathroom AC get out.
That's my toilet makes noises on its own.
I'm glad you threw that on its own on the tail end of that. My toilet makes noises too.
It has a mind of its own. Just floats in the tank. Brain boom.
And
we're gonna talk about movies tonight, I promise.
And then, as a complete departure from Insidious, I watched 925. That Jane Fonda, Lily Tomlin, Dolly Parton, Dabney Coleman movie.
That's I'll see you threw Dabney Coleman in there too.
That is definitely a movie that is I love Dabney Coleman.
All the people you listed, and then you just made sure to throw in Dabney Coleman too.
I want to make sure that he's also very properly announced as being a part of that movie.
Dabney Coleman.
Dabney Coleman is great.
He's got a great name.
Yeah. That is definitely a movie that's a product of its time. Like, it came out in 1980 and is all about like women being mistreated in the workplace. And I'm like, yeah, what's sad is some of this still continues in 2023. We've made movies making fun of how bad it is to be like a sexist, egotistical, bigoted bastard of a boss. And yet we still haven't fixed anything since 1980 when this movie came out.
Fun fact and good news, Dabney Coleman is still with us.
Yeah.
He is old now. He is old. I thought he was one of those that had like passed a few years ago. But also, fun fact, he was Tom Hanks's dad in You've Got Mail.
Yes, it was.
FOX.
Senior. Yeah.
Well,
anyways, 9 to 5 it was a fun movie. It's a lot more cartoonish than I thought it was going to be, but it's also one of those movies where you're again screaming at your screen like, just stop. You're making it worse. Don't continue. Just stop.
Oh, it's like it's basically The Office.
I guess.
It's like cringe comedy, even though I don't know if they intended it to be. Well, I guess. Meet the Parents. That's another good example.
Meet the Parents, kind of.
The same kind of thing. Like, why? No. Oh, why are we doing this?
Stop climbing on the roof and chasing after the cat. And yeah, that kind of thing.
Stop milking Robert De Niro.
There's stuff similar to that kind of type of comedy in 9 to 5. There's one particular scene that involves Lily Tomlin trying to get a dead body, steal a dead body from the hospital. And it's bonkers. And you're like, just no, stop.
I love the out of context pull there, because I'm like, the movie's called 9 to 5. I imagine this is like workplace type situations, and you're talking about a character in the movie trying to steal a dead body from a hospital, and I'm like, okay, maybe I should watch this movie.
It's crazy. It's bonkers. And the three lead ladies, they are having such a good time making this movie.
Working 9 to 5.
Yes, that is where that song comes from.
What?
It's the opening theme.
I thought that movie is where Creep from TLC came from.
It is.
Is that the plot of her 80 for Brady?
I mean, aren't the three other than
Dolly Parton?
Dolly Parton, isn't like Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin in 80 for Brady also?
I don't know if Lily Tomlin is. I think Jane Fonda.
I know Jane Fonda is. I don't know if Lily Tomlin was. But it sounds like she would be a part of something like that. Anyways, let's get on to movie news.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Good evening. This is what's happening in your world tonight.
We apologize for the interruption.
back to you.
I still can't look left, so I'm going to rotate. As I look,
For those of y'all who might not know the context, I don't know if you talked about this on
my neck hurts.
streams. Yeah, but he can't look left right now.
I slept wrong the other day, and it's been. I guess I slept wrong the other day, and it's been rampaging my neck for 48 plus hours now. All right, so here's the fun time. Ready? Can we guess what the number one movie is in the box office this weekend?
Taylor Swift.
It's not Exorcist.
Thank God. I love how that's the answer to that too. It's not Exorcist. Thank God.
Well, so
Like
the joke there was that it might have been Exorcist had Exorcist come out this week. But it didn't, because Taylor Swift, The Eras Tour came out this week. It's not actually a narrative film. It's a concert film. But it is number one.
So I would have like some kind of issue in regards to when people are talking about, or they're saying like, what's the highest grossing movie of the year? And if people are like, oh, it's that Taylor Swift, no, that's not a movie. That was a concert that was shown on a big screen.
Well,
it was a glorified Fathom event.
Luckily, you're not going to have that conversation, because there's no shot. I'm calling it right now. There's no shot the Taylor Swift Eras Tour movie is going to be the number one movie at the end of the year.
No,
it's still going to be
Barbie. Yeah.
It's going to be Barbie, followed by, I think, Super Mario still.
Now, the thing, though, is I do feel like that a lot of the same audience for the core audience for the Taylor Swift movie is probably also the same core audience for Barbie. So, yeah, they're kind of they're not really going to be able to top themselves.
Stepping on some toesies there. Anyway, yeah. So now we can see why they decided to move Exorcist to Believer. We had that whole talk before. Now I said that. What
did you call it? Believer?
No, you hear what you want to hear for some reason. I called it Believer. But now that I even said that, I still don't know why they moved it, actually, because. Do you know how much money Exorcist Believer has made?
Not much.
Worldwide? Hasn't even cracked 100 million yet.
Yeah, so kind of hoping we don't see any more Exorcist movies. That would be great.
I have a hard time imagining that they're going to. Look, I think they could do like a TV show. Have they? I don't know.
They did a TV show already.
Okay, well then, yeah, no, I think Exorcist is a dead property.
Especially if they continue with David Gordon Green. I want to see David Gordon Green return to comedy. And I know I sound like one of those like hundreds and thousands of people bitching about the Halloween trilogy that he did, or now Exorcist. But yeah. He did great with comedy. He did Pineapple Express. Was a good movie. But
hey, let a filmmaker make what he wants to make.
Sure, but I want to see another comedy from him. I don't want to see any more horror.
Yeah. Anyway, so number one, we got Taylor Swift: The Eras Tour. $92.8 million is its domestic take in. Number two, we've got Exorcist Believer with 10.9, so almost $11 million for its second weekend in the box office. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Demon's Expelled. It's out of here. It's not coming back. I think Exorcist is a dead property. Number three is
Power of Christ compelled it to no longer make any money.
There it is. Number three is some kids movie with 6.8 million. Number four is Saw X.
Wait, does a kids movie sound like Saw?
Some people might say that. Number five is The Creator. Number six, we've got The Blind, which is a Fathom event. What is that?
That's weird.
I don't know. Wouldn't even be able to tell you now that I clicked on it too. Number seven is A Haunting in Venice. Number 8 is The Nun 2. Number 9, The Equalizer 3. And number 10, Dumb Money, which still has not cracked $15 million, and it's been out for 5 weeks.
Eesh. That's one I believe. So even though it has like really good star power, I believe that the reason that that's not doing as well is because people just don't care about the story. When the story when that happened, like, what was that, a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
Broke that people were making like so much money off of the stock market and playing GameStop. Like, everyone's like, yeah, okay, that sounds like something that would come out of Florida. No offense, Florida, but y'all state is crazy. But that sounds like something that would be like,
we live in Texas, man. Come on.
Florida man won such and such money playing the stock market with all of his money on GameStop. And you're like, yeah, sure, why not? And then you just continue with your day. And I think that's what it was, is everyone, instead of people actually wanting to know or care, everyone was like, okay, cool.
Dope.
Yeah. Anyways, moving on.
It does look like a good movie, though. I do want to see it.
I do too, but it's not a movie that I was like, oh yeah, let's just go run to. Even though we run a movie YouTube channel, it's not a movie I'm like, yeah, I want to go run to the theater and see that real quick.
There's been a few of those lately.
Well, I'm curious. A lot of them are horror.
That's true too. I'm curious if it's going to be viewable somewhere yet.
That being said, I know Killers of the Flower Moon comes out this week, and I don't think either one of us are going to have time or an opportunity to go watch it.
The truth of this, and you have to keep this in mind, is when studios are releasing 3.5-hour movies, it no longer becomes a situation where it's like, oh, we can make it to the movie theater to go see this. It's very hard with the schedule and the amount that we both have to work right now to be able to prioritize a 3.5-hour movie in the middle of the day or in the evening. It just doesn't work. So luckily that one is going to be hitting the Apple streaming service at some point, so we will be able to check it out in the comfort of our own home when we have time to maybe pause it and pick it up the next day or somewhat.
Nothing like, not that we have anything against like really long Scorsese movies in general. Like, I liked The Irishman, and it was long. I think I watched it on a plane though.
Yeah, I just don't have the mental energy to be able to sit down and just devote the 3.5 hours in a theater to see it right now.
How long was Silence? Because I know we both went to go see that in the theater.
Silence, I think, was under 3 hours. Let me see. I'm pretty sure
that was one. That was a slow movie, and that's one that felt like it was probably 3 hours.
It's almost 3 hours. It's 2 hours and 41 minutes.
Okay.
So it was over 2.5.
It might as well have been 3 hours.
Listen, like, I get it. Like, Endgame, if they had another Avengers movie that was 3 hours long come out, of course we're going to go see that. And, you could pose the argument, why would you prioritize that over a Scorsese movie? The subject matter is honestly a lot more fun. It's a lot more breezy. It's a lot more interesting in terms of things that garner our specific interests. So we would prioritize that, of course, but also pop culture wise, it's huge.
Well, I mean, the simple answer is I've been a fan of comic books since I was a kid. I'm always going to be a fan of comic books.
And that.
Yeah. So I didn't grow up as like a 5 or 6 year old super interested in what happens in regards to the FBI and the story of, I believe it's like the Osage tribe in Killers of the Flower Moon.
Just historical stuff in general.
A 5 or 6 year old. 5 or 6 year old, not really interested in that. Give me superheroes, bang, bang, boom, boom, pow, pow. Okay. I want flashy colors and bright lights and ooh.
You love what you love from a young age and it sticks with you. Yeah, so that being said, I'm still interested in seeing it. I still think I'm gonna be interested and think it's gonna be a good movie, but probably not gonna make it out to the theater for that one.
And we'll talk some more about Killers of the Flower Moon here in a little bit.
Yeah. Anyway, we had your top 10 there.
Yeah.
Dunzo.
So one of the big news stories over this past week, and it's weird because like I think I kind of commented about it on Twitter, and yes, I'm still calling it Twitter. There's still a bird thing down there. Is this announcement that Best Buy is going to stop selling like physical media, Blu-rays, DVDs, 4K.
I'm shocked.
And it was weird because I've seen like so many opinions basically. It's one of those weird things that you see a news story and everyone just responds with their gut reaction instead of actually understanding what's going on with that news story. Everyone was so quick, like, well, there's no reason to go to Blockbuster. There's no reason to go to Best Buy anymore. Wow, that's really old. And like a lot of people are blaming Best Buy, which is fine. Best Buy is a company. It's allowed to make its decisions, however intelligent they are. Sure. But specifically like for this, I've worked at Best Buy. And I worked at Best Buy selling appliances, and we had the Blu-ray DVD section right in front of the appliance department for most of the time that I worked there. And we saw it like slowly get smaller and smaller. There really just was not a lot of people coming into Best Buy and buying movies. And a part of it may have been like before I worked at Best Buy, I always thought of Best Buy as having pretty close to like prices that you would see like at the mall. Like if you had a Suncoast or Sam Goody or something at the mall, those DVDs, Blu-rays were always expensive. And I always thought of like Best Buy as pretty close to mall pricing. After working there and actually looking at movies and seeing the prices, they weren't that bad. Especially if you hit them up when they do like, we're just going to take this stack of movies and throw them like in a $5 bin. Those were always good to grab. And they always had like random pricing, like massive sales on movies just out of the blue. But yeah, the main issue as to why is people aren't buying physical media anymore. It's not that Best Buy is being mean or weird. It's just no one's buying it. It's the same thing like we used to hear when, say, like Best Buy would open Thursday afternoon, Thanksgiving Thursday. They would open like at 5 p.m. early for Black Friday. And there used to be this whole thing with like people, customers lined up going, we're sorry that you have to be here today instead of home with your family. And we're like, bitch, I'm here because you're here. Because you're standing in line. That's why I am here too.
Go home with your family.
You go home so I can go home. So yeah, Best Buy is going to stop selling physical media because you're not buying it. That's why. But everyone was like, just like seemingly online blaming Best Buy, like they're going out of business. It's such a terrible company. This is a dumb decision. Like you're not buying physical media from them. So
no, and also like home computing and phones and stuff. All that stuff is single-handedly keeping Best Buy alive.
Yeah, I'll be honest. The Best Buy I worked at was the one that's over here by where I live. And I'm not happy necessarily with the way that ended. I would have preferably liked to have not shopped there anymore, just not give that store my money. But at the same time, I'm like, they're right down the street and they have like cameras and cords and stuff that I may need on an emergency. That's a little bit more important than whatever my wannabe boycott of them is. So still shop there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the point is that they have a lot of things that a lot of people still want. So the idea that they're going to go out of business because they're not selling movies anymore is ridiculous. Clearly, the fact that they're not selling movies anymore is because they're not selling enough anyway. And so business was not hanging in the balance because of them. The reason they're not selling anymore is because they've got valuable real estate in their stores that they're going to replace with other things that they will sell, and they gotta take it up. General populace not buying physical media anymore because streaming services have a vast majority of the things that people want to watch. Not everything. There's many, many times where I want to watch a movie and it's not available on one of the streaming services that we're signed up on, or even one of the ones that we're not signed up on or whatever. Unfortunately, that is the situation now. It's like, I really wish I could watch that. Maybe if I had a physical copy. The problem I have is that I have nothing to watch physical copies on, and I don't have the money to go out and buy movies right now. There's just the financial fundage is not there to be able to buy movies, even though I really enjoyed doing that at one point.
We don't really have a home theater set up here.
No. We have a YouTube studio set in our living room, and we have our computers in our rooms. That's about it.
Yeah. So, I mean, also the other reason I tend to go digital with a lot of these is because I can get the movie digitally, and then I have a copy of it that I can use for editing. So say there's a clip from a movie I want to use and I can't find that clip on YouTube or somewhere else on the internet. I have the digital version of the movie that all I have to do is just drop it into my video editor and I can just clip out what I want.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's more beneficial for me. I know you can do that with physical media as well.
Still have the means to do that.
But yeah, that's just so much time. Like I know Dead Meat. I know I've talked about them a lot. When they do their kill count videos, they don't do kill counts until the Blu-ray is out at the absolute earliest. So they are buying the Blu-ray. They are ripping a digital copy from the Blu-ray and using that for their edits.
Now, did
yeah,
keep saying Blockbusters. Did Best Buy say that they are no longer selling physical media in total, or are they just no longer selling it in their stores?
I believe it's just in their stores.
Like
they may continue to do it online.
Yeah, because there's not as much overhead to be able to sell it online as there would be. You're not taking up valuable, retail space for it. So, plus they want to stay in competition with retailers like Amazon, who absolutely will still be selling physical media on their online store, because that's probably the place where most people are still buying their physical media, to be honest.
Yeah. So what's interesting though is you brought up another thing. Because it's being sold online, they don't have the overhead of it being put out on display on a store. Like we were talking about, like how precious the real estate is. The last time I went to this Best Buy, they actually had a portion of the middle of the floor was a display for Peloton bikes. So yeah, the physical media section is shrinking, and they're adding other things.
Yeah, Peloton. It's technically electronic. Here's the thing. I see Best Buy's moving into just a home goods type situation, which, listen, we're talking about movies here, but if I could do a quick side opinion, I think it's a smart business move. Kind of pivoting a little bit when you need to expand your horizons, and
yeah, because in all honesty, they are heading
better online than it is in a store,
because they are heading the way of Circuit City at this point.
Yeah,
so not because they're not selling physical media, but
no. Anywho,
yeah, so that is unfortunate, but is bound to happen. I don't know if there's actually any other physical stores that you could go buy other than like Walmart or Target.
Apparently, was it Barnes and Noble said that we're still selling DVDs.
Yeah, but Barnes and Noble's mostly selling books. It doesn't cost them as much overhead to have like their little movie section still.
I mean, they still have a pretty decent movie section. Movie and music sections still are still pretty solid over there. I mean, of course, then you've got like used shops. You can go to Half Price Books or any mom and pop video game store usually is selling.
If those even exist anymore.
Some of them do. We got a couple in the mall.
I haven't seen like a good like video store. Like I think here in Austin they closed iHeart Video and Vulcan Video.
I'll say FYE still exists in the mall too.
Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah, there's the overpriced physical media like I was talking about. Might be good if that's the only place you can find the movie, if you can't even find it on Amazon. But yeah, I don't see FYE lasting very much longer if they're still open right now.
They are.
Yeah. Anyways. So speaking of which, the reason why they're stopping to sell it, kind of like what you were saying earlier, is because everyone's going streaming. And Netflix decides to raise its price. Apparently, their like premium, like ad-free account now is going to be like $22.99 a month. Why don't you just get cable TV at that point? Like we're moving away from the streaming services. Used to be a bargain when they were like $5.99, $6.99, and then of course you could just share the password with everyone you know. But
now you can't share at all with anybody, and we're going to charge you over $20 for each service.
Like that's just insane. I don't know. Netflix, unfortunately, it has one really good thing working for it, and that is it's got, well, maybe not just one, but it's got like a couple of shows that have a very dedicated fan base that people will be subscribed for that show, and as soon as that show's over, they're going to unsubscribe.
Yep. So waiting on Stranger Things season 5.
Stranger Things season 5. As soon as it comes out and it's over and done with, you're going to see a massive amount of people leave the Netflix platform. I don't know if there's any other show that's as massive like that on Netflix. I'm not big in the TV shows like that anyways.
I believe what's going to happen, what we'll see is that we're going to see them all raising their prices, and then we're going to start seeing streaming services in order to get people to come back. They'll do a sign up now for 6 months at a reduced price or something like that. Some amount of months at a reduced price just to try to bring people back in.
You know what that sounds like?
Cable?
That sounds like a cable company. So you start at a low introductory price as a new customer. Then after a year, they increase the price. Another year, they increase it again. Then you decide to leave. And after like 30 days, they're like, hey, come back. We'll give you the new customer pricing again. You're like, okay.
So also, the other thing too is that Netflix isn't the only one raising their prices. We're about to get a Disney Plus price raise too, which is going to about $140 a year, which theoretically is about 2 times the amount Disney Plus was when we signed up for it.
Like we started paying like $70 a year for Disney Plus.
It was like $70 a year when Disney Plus first came out, and now it's going to be at $140 for the ad free.
Oh, and that's what's going to be hard is how do you justify it? Yes, granted, both of us watch those Marvel movies on there like constantly.
Marvel, Star Wars, all of that, everything Marvel and Star Wars on there.
I guarantee there is someone from Disney who's looking specifically at my Disney Plus profile, and they're sitting there like, yeah, well, we got $70 for the year out of Robert Adams, and he's watched Avengers Endgame 5 times in the past half a year.
But see, here's the thing.
We're making a ton of money off of him.
Outside of the new Marvel shows or Star Wars shows that Disney Plus produces, I could own all the Star Wars movies. I could own all the Marvel movies. I could have all the Pixar movies. I could have everything that I would want to watch on Disney Plus. I could own it physically and then not have a Disney Plus account.
Granted, again, what do you do with those Marvel or Star Wars shows?
Again, we're still talking about the fact that they're still producing those shows. Do I think those shows are worth $140 a year?
I mean,
I like them.
If you could crank out Ahsoka level.
I like them. I don't, well, except for Secret Invasion. Good Lord. I like the shows, but I don't know that I can say right now that they are worth $140 a year at the moment.
Mm-mm.
Maybe when we get a lot more, like, here's the thing. Yeah, I love Ahsoka. I've liked all of Mandalorian, that kind of stuff. Loki season 2 right now so far is pretty dang good. Loki season 1 was good. I liked WandaVision. You know, these kinds of shows at that quality, keep cranking that out, and then I could justify saying it's worth $140 a year. My thought is, and this is my take, not knowing anything about business or how any of this works, pricing, just how the accounting works for streaming services in general, or how much money they make versus how much money they're spending. Also, the logistics of all of this, I don't think is possible, but this is my take. Time to reduce streaming services, time to combine companies, time for companies to go all in with each other in ways that you wouldn't see for like theatrical releases or anything. They go all in with each other on streaming services only. Give me Disney Plus that also has Paramount Plus attached to it. So now you got Disney and Nickelodeon and everything Paramount owns. That's basically your family streaming service right there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Give me Max with, HBO, Warner Brothers, and Universal. Oh, the Disney one also has Sony. You got to throw Sony in there too because it's Spider-Man. Max has Warner Brothers, Universal, HBO, all that good stuff. Give me Netflix. Netflix has everybody else. A24, all these other studios and stuff. Give me those. Each one of them $10 to $15 a month each. Maybe 20, maybe 25 for an ad-free version. I'd say, yeah, $25 a month each, ad-free. That would be us spending $75 a month on 3 services that cover pretty much the gamut of everything and everybody.
Yeah.
Ad-free. Now, logistically speaking, does that make money? That's a lot of companies that have to go in with each other. I don't know. I could be a complete idiot. I probably am. But I'd pay $75 a month for those 3 services specifically to have everything essentially. And you don't have to worry about 2 or 3 services raising their prices over here because there's only 3 of them that you have to worry about. I don't know. Do we see that happen in the future or some variation of that? Maybe not with the pricing structure that I gave, but some variation of that. I don't know. Will these studios be able to play with each other? I don't know. They can't play with their actors right now, so who knows if they can play with each other.
Yeah. Apparently, the CEO of Netflix, Ted Sarandos, he was like one of the major ones who is stopping the actors.
Oh, yeah.
From being able to get a deal because the last I saw that they wanted like that extra 2% on streaming and he refused. They're refusing to give him that.
He's also been really big on the AI stuff too.
Gotta let that go, my dude. That's not gonna fly. People don't like that. So maybe he should think about retiring. Much like Michael Caine has announced over this.
Michael Caine.
God bless Michael Caine. Like, if that man wants to retire, Sir Michael Caine, if he wants to retire, let him retire. That man has done fantastic work over the years.
No.
Do what?
Christopher Nolan says no.
Yeah, Christopher Nolan says, nope, you got to get ready for my next, 4 movies I'm about to make. And it's sad hearing that he wants to retire, but at the same time, I'm like, good for him. Just let him enjoy the rest of his peaceful life.
Mm-hmm.
The funniest thing I remember hearing is the quote he would from him being in Jaws: The Revenge, the 4th Jaws movie, and he's like, I don't remember if it was a good movie. All I remember is the money that the house that I bought with the money for the movie, and I love the house.
I love that quote.
Like, I don't care if the movie was any good.
That's
but
fantastic.
The house that it bought me is phenomenal.
That's fantastic. I love that. I love that for him.
But yeah, it's just, again, sad to hear that he's retiring. He'll be missed, but good work, dude. Good work, sir.
You just
call us sir a dude.
You say dude to Michael Caine.
Michael
Hey,
Caine.
good work, dude. Yeah.
Good work, dude.
Righteous. Sick rad. Sick rad, fam. Yeah. No, Michael Caine's been in some of my favorite movies. I mean, we're talking about Christopher Nolan. He's been in like Christopher Nolan's best movies. Honestly.
In like all of them.
Which, yeah, theoretically is all of Christopher Nolan's movies. So yeah, I mean, he's been in so much, and honestly, like, how many actors out there get to make the decision as to when they're done? A lot of them work up until the point where they pass away. They work up till their final days.
Nothing wrong with that.
Which is fine, you know, if that's the choice they want to make, like if they're getting into their elderly states and they want to keep going, that's fine. What I think is good about this and what Michael Caine's doing here is that from another perspective, let's look at another perspective, right? I'm old. I'm committed to still working on movies, right? And this is a theoretical. I'm committed to still working on movies. I'm old. I pass away during a movie. They have to scramble and figure out something to do to replace me somehow. They could use AI. They could rehire and recast my role and have to reshoot it all for a more bloated budget now. Or you can go the Michael Caine route. And I'm saying, let everybody make their own decision. If someone's, getting up there in age and wants to continue working, by all means, that's your decision. Keep going. But what Michael Caine's doing, I think, is a smart and good move. He's putting himself in a position to not be working on a movie in the off chance that his health starts failing him at some point. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a very selfless way of looking at it. Some might say it's self-centered. You're depriving the rest of us of continued art from you. I don't know who would say that, and I think they're dumb if they do. But
you're recognizing you don't want to put the burden on the studio or the production team. Yep. Should you get an ill health and you pass away, especially because we see things, even people who aren't old, who unfortunately pass away way too young. You get like your Carrie Fisher, your Paul Walker, and how they had to scramble productions. Mm-hmm. Like in Carrie Fisher, I think they were just finishing The Last Jedi and they hadn't started on Rise of Skywalker yet.
They were in post-production on The Last Jedi. Yeah, and they hadn't started Rise of Skywalker yet.
So that was trying to figure out how she's going to fit in for an entire movie. And then you have, of course, Paul Walker in the middle of making a movie. They still had to go back and scramble. Luckily, his brothers look exactly like him.
Yeah.
And I think they did, other than the one CGI shot, I think they did a phenomenal job on Furious 7.
You have like franchise work with, Chadwick Boseman, and what are we going to do with a Black Panther sequel when we've only had one, of that in that franchise essentially. And
I think they handled that pretty well too.
I think they did the best they could.
I just rewatched Wakanda Forever, and like the whole end with where they flash back and show basically shots of Shuri remembering her brother and stuff, and I'm like, I'm gonna cry again.
Outside of whether or not anyone considers recasting a good idea at that point, I think they did the best they could with what they had to work with.
Yeah. So happy to see that he wants to retire and live his life.
Hey,
but
he's given us some great movies. Get on with your bad self, Michael Caine.
I want to go back because I have recently discovered that he's done like a couple of like early 80s like underground horror movies like The Hand. Oh. And I'm like, I want to see these.
I don't.
Yeah. There's also another one where I can't remember the name of it, but he's like a cross-dressing psycho killer, possibly.
So
and I'm like, this sounds like it's 80s. It's pure 80s. I'm
Rocky
like,
Horror Picture Show. Okay.
This sounds like it's gonna be a lot of fun. So yeah, I want to see those.
Where's the cross-dressing buddy cop movie with him and Tim Curry?
That'd be funny. How you do, I?
So you met my cocaine.
My cocaine. That's great. All right, so
Tangerine.
for the main topic for tonight. So we're talking about how there's negative reviews seemingly already about like Killers of the Flower Moon, which that one I understand is that movie is now being seen by people instead of just like critics. The general public is getting to see it. It opens wide tomorrow. What I'm seeing though is it's not necessarily like an actual negative review for the movie, and we've been seeing this a lot lately. It's that whole woke issue. Is like specifically for this movie, I know a lot of people are negative review bombing Killers of the Flower Moon because of Scorsese's remarks in regards to superhero cinema and stuff like that. And so they're like, oh, so you don't like our superhero movies? Well, we don't like your movies, so we're just going to negative review bomb them. First things first, and I have said this on Twitter.
People are so weird.
When people who work in like the movie critic, pundit, interview, journalist area, please stop asking Scorsese his opinions on superhero movies. They don't matter. He's like right now he's doing this whole like tour, his press tour or whatever, for Killers of the Flower Moon. I don't care what his thought is on the state of superhero movies right now. He's not making a superhero movie. He hasn't made a superhero movie.
He's not going to.
He's not going to make a superhero movie. I don't care what he thinks about superhero movies. And
it's not what I go. Listen, I go to Best Buy for electronics. I go to, Target for home goods. I don't go to either one of those places for car maintenance.
No.
Well, you could go to Best Buy for, your car radio and stuff. That's not the point. I don't go to those places for things that they don't do. I'm not going to Scorsese for the superhero content. I'm going to him for the content that he makes, the movies that he produces. That's what I'm going to Scorsese for. Gangster films.
And like this also recently happened. Someone asked John Carpenter his opinion of the Barbie movie.
Why?
And
who cares?
Yeah. And he was like, there was Barbies in it. I watched it. Okay. And they're all like, John Carpenter hates Barbie or whatever. Like the way they're positioning this like little sound bite. I'm like, why? I don't care about John Carpenter's opinion of Barbie. That's not a movie that like fits within what I believe is the realm of John Carpenter.
No
type of movies. Like, why do I care about his opinion?
Like, yeah, I care about John Carpenter's opinion over things that are related to things that John Carpenter cares about. I know
movies, action movies, music.
You just don't ask the opinion of people about things that they don't. They don't care about. That's not related to them. Like, I'm not going to ask your opinion about a Pokemon thing. You don't know. You're not going to ask my opinion about most horror movie properties outside of the few that I see every now and then, just to gauge how I feel about it. But like, hey, ask me how I feel about Friday the 13th. You're not going to do that because I don't have an opinion to give on that. Mm-hmm. At least one that you would care about. So,
but like, could you imagine if we had a lot more subscribers and followers and someone was to interview us and they're like, so Robert, what would you say is your favorite Pokemon? I'm be like, I really don't know Pokemon. I don't care. And then they use that soundbite and they're like, Robert Adams from the Cinefanatics hates Pokemon. He hates anything that comes from Japan. He just hates all this stuff. Like, that's not what no, it's not what I said. And that's seemingly what they're doing. and they're making like clips and sound bites and stuff to click on. So yeah. Chris, what's your opinion on Friday the 13th? It's a day of the week that we had recently.
That's my opinion.
There's his opinion. So yeah, we've got people like seemingly negative review bombing Killers of the Flower Moon instead of like, we need to get back to proper. Let people just talk about a movie and give their thoughts, feelings, opinions. And it's bad enough that we have a situation where, as critics or as pundits or as someone who has the right equipment to start a YouTube channel that wants to talk about movies, it's bad enough that we're going to get people that are like, oh, y'all are just being paid off by Disney to give a good review of that Marvel movie or something. I was like, yeah, please.
I wish they would. I'll take that money.
But they don't, and I'm glad that they don't.
I don't know right now. I'm one of those. No, at the same time, like there's also this weird thing. Okay, so people are review bombing Scorsese's movie because of his comments on their beloved Marvel movies. I like Marvel movies. I do. Love them. They're great. If someone says something negative about them, I'm not going to go out of my way to do anything that harms. I use that term loosely because you're not really harming Martin Scorsese by negative review bombing his movie. I don't really think it actually does anything, honestly, to him at all. But I'm not going to go out of my way to get back at somebody who says, well, that Marvel movie is stupid. You know how many people said She-Hulk as a show was really dumb? I like She-Hulk. I thought it was a great show. You know how people said it was dumb? I'm not going out to them going, well, you're dumb. Some people on the internet, I might do that and then have a very good explanation as to why. But for the most part, I'm not doing stuff like that. And I think there's this weird tribalism mentality that people are starting to have with the properties that they love. They are putting their shows and their movies up on these pedestals and saying, we must defend these with our life. And if you say anything against them, that means something bad is going to happen to our babies, and we are going to come at you with the full extent of our being, like we're protecting family members. And it's dumb. The show or movie that you love is not your child. You don't have to defend it like it is.
For funny example, I did the review for The Creator, and I said in the review is like, yeah, so what was it? Gareth Edwards directed Rogue One. I was like, I'm not a huge fan of Rogue One. I get why people like it. I recognize that it is a good movie. I just personally don't connect with it. And I kind of glossed over that. I was like, I don't connect with it for whatever reason. Like, I know the reason why I don't connect with it.
Me, don't want to get into it.
I don't feel like I needed the story of how the Death Star plans got stolen or whatever. That's fine.
You also don't need to dive into it because you're reviewing The Creator. You're not reviewing Rogue One.
Yes. So I said that. I just said, like, I just did not connect with Rogue One, but I recognize it is a good movie. I understand why people like it. And then I saw like the comments on the review down below, like almost every comment down there is saying something like, hey, Rogue One is a good movie. It's like,
okay.
I didn't say it wasn't a good movie. I just said I didn't connect with it. I understand that it is a movie that people like, that people do connect with it. I just didn't connect with it. I don't know why we're randomly needing to justify, hey, Rogue One was a good movie. Yeah,
my
sure,
God,
I know.
Y'all just saved Rogue One's life by commenting on a YouTube channel that currently is almost at 2,000 subscribers. You guys should really subscribe, by the way. You saved Rogue One's life by commenting on our YouTube channel, defending it.
And it's, yeah, so like I understand this as also, Jeremy, as someone who would comment on videos. It's just, I think it's more of a matter of people hear things the way they hear them, and they may not necessarily hear it the way it was explicitly said. When I said that in the review, I knew exactly, I'm not trying to talk trash about Rogue One.
Yeah.
I'll talk trash about Solo, but I'm not talking trash about Rogue One. I knew that it was a movie that a lot of people enjoyed, a lot of people liked, and it's simply I didn't connect with it. I didn't see the need for that story, so therefore I have a hard time getting into it. But I get, like, it is a good story. I think they did a very good job of telling it. I didn't necessarily need it in my life. And
Side point, I think watching Andor will improve Rogue One for you.
And that's why I haven't jumped into Andor either, because this was a character that I've only known from Rogue One.
Yeah.
I don't care about him or his story or anything. So why do I watch the show? I'll probably watch the show because it's like now one of like the only shows of Star Wars I haven't watched, so I might as well watch it to be a completist anyways. That Bad Batch. So but yeah, it's recognizing what is being said and how it's being said. A lot of times now, I've recognized as we continue to do reviews and talk about movies, instead of me just saying, "Oh, that was a terrible movie," well, that doesn't tell you anything. You want to know, why do I think it's terrible? That's why you click on YouTube videos to hear reviews and stuff. Why do we think it's bad? What's the aspects of it that you didn't like? And what I'm doing is I'm trying to be more mindful of movies that are just flat out bad versus maybe it's a good movie that I just didn't connect with. Maybe it's because I have really bad ADHD and the way that they decided to make the movie kind of messes with my ability to focus on where they want me to focus.
Mm-hmm.
They're not necessarily making that movie thinking, wow, we got to be careful. What about all those people that have like really bad ADHD that can't focus here?
No, they're making it for the audience that's going to appreciate it.
Exactly. So at what point do I determine this is an issue with me being able to watch this movie versus this movie is just bad? Yeah. The Fantastic Fest ranking that I did, probably, like, I know the lowest movie on there is that Pet Sematary Bloodlines. That was a bad movie. The actors did a good job. I think there's a lot of good to it, but the movie overall, the story is just bad. And it's not I can't connect with it. It was just a bad story. So I'm recognizing something like that. Now, granted, someone else may watch it and may think it's okay story and they enjoy the movie.
Yeah,
sure.
Because at the end of the day, it's all
subjective.
IMO, in my opinion.
Yeah. But like, other than like one or two other movies that are also at the very end of my ranking, the rest of the movies, even if I said something negative about it, it was mostly because I don't connect with it. There was a movie in there called Rage. It takes place in like a Mexican suburban gated community. Mm-hmm. And those kinds of communities really do exist in real life. And they have like actual community familial bonds within like all the neighbors and stuff. I'm not going to understand that because I'm not of that culture, that community, that area. I'm not going to get a lot of that. So I am not going to personally connect with the themes that they're setting up in that movie for that location, with that being the place where the story takes place.
You might still like go to a movie like that to try to understand and take in and learn and you know, what have you there. But other than that, you know, there's certain nuances and things that are going to connect with people that, you know, they're kind of aiming that movie towards specifically.
Mm-hmm.
It's just what it is. Yeah, I think it's weird that people are review bombing Flower Moon though, for Scorsese's opinions. I think that's just dumb.
And then real quick, the other one to touch upon is the Marvels. And
well, we all know why that's happening.
We know why that's about to happen. Look at it, like the negativity that there was off of the first Captain Marvel. Now we've also got adding in Teyonah Parris and
that's too woke. People who aren't white are in this movie.
Which the thing is those characters exist in the comics.
Yeah, but they don't need to be in my movie.
They're taking what was in the comics and they're putting it in a movie. That's fine. That's what they've been doing ever since 2008's Iron Man.
They're forcing those agendas down my throat. I don't want it.
And like, what I hate is, again, as people who talk about movies on the internet, I see like film Twitter and how toxic that can get. people just reviewing these movies based off of their own personal prejudices before the movie even comes out, and it's just disgusting. I hate seeing it. I wish there was just a way to, like, if there was a way on Twitter, like, I don't want to see these posts.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't like the movie and you don't like the movie, that's fine. You're free to do that. But if you're like, I don't like the movie because it stars women. Come on.
I don't like the movie because there's a black person and, a person of Middle Eastern descent of some sort in the movie. It's like
they made the white person the minority out of the three of them, and I don't like that.
You live on planet Earth. I hate to break it to you, but there's people with darker complexions than you on this planet.
I'm like, oh, I hope you know.
They're going to exist in movies too.
Have you actually looked at like the demographics for the planet, especially like between India and China? I'm pretty sure white people are the minority on the entire planet anyways. So
we know the Marvels is going to get heavily review bombed because women and other races that aren't white. That's why.
And the other downside to it, though, is from the trailers, I wouldn't say it necessarily has like the most interesting looking story. It's just random Cree woman is wanting to destroy their homes while they're all like body swapping.
It looks like a superhero movie, and to be honest, the thing that sells me the most on the movie is the three characters.
Yeah, specifically Kamala Khan.
100%.
I think Iman Vellani is probably going to be the major star of that movie.
Because
even the trailer, the scenes that she's in the trailer where she meets everyone, it's just her interacting with the larger Marvel world. That's the most fun parts in the trailer. Her meeting Captain Marvel and like you hear her voice like squeak and like, I get to meet you. Or then the big one is her finding out that the Goose is a Flurkin and her reaction. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, it's so funny.
But even like Teyonah Parris, like I loved her in WandaVision.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to see her on the big screen. And listen, this is what, again, waxing poetic or whatever about this or positive about this. We're talking about the characters and the relationships, right? I'm eager to see Teyonah Parris's character with Brie Larson's character. We're talking about, which one is it? Maria or Monica? Maria's the mom. Monica's
the daughter. Yes, Teyonah Parris is Monica.
I get mom and daughter mixed up. Monica is the daughter talking to Carol Danvers. She hasn't seen her since she was a little girl. So I'm excited to see that relationship and what happens there on screen.
Like, she's still going to call her Lieutenant Trouble.
Right?
It's like Ahsoka when we had the shots of Anakin and Ahsoka. When they were saying, how's it going, Sky Guy? How's it going, Snips? We're like,
never said Sky Guy, but yeah.
She didn't have said Sky Guy?
No.
She should have said Sky Guy. That was a missed opportunity. But like that kind of interaction, I love those interactions. One of my favorite parts of superhero movies is when they reveal their identity to the other characters. That scene in Spider-Man Far From Home when they're on the bridge and MJ is guessing that he's Spider-Man. That is such a fun scene just because of how they interact and the dynamic of the dialogue. I
right.
love
I am
that
Spider-Man.
part.
We gotta go.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, and he's like, "You're right. I am Spider-Man. We gotta
go." But yeah, like the thing is that we're in a day and age where people are just kind of telling on themselves. If you're giving, there's going to be people who don't like the Marvels because they think it's not a well-written movie, it's not a well-directed movie, it's not a well-acted movie, it's not a well-produced movie of some sort. Visual effects are off, whatever. There's going to be people who have legitimate criticism of the movie.
go.
Unfortunately, they're going to be branded, racist or misogynistic or something. Some of them will probably. Then there's going to be people who have criticism of the movie, and it's going to be plain as day what their criticism is indicating. And I think at the end of the day, if you are criticizing the movie, or if in this case, if you're going out of your way to leave nasty negative reviews, that really just says more about you than it does about the movie. And that's kind of it. If you're going out of your way to harm a movie in some capacity because women, races other than white, any of that happening in the movie, that's on you. That's garbage behavior. It's garbage behavior. Be a better person. Be an adult. Be a better human. I don't know.
Changing the world one stream at a time.
We're doing it for all
we can only hope.
All 3 people watching.
So, anyways, that being said, I think that's a good place to end it for tonight. I feel like this kind of like flew by. We've been doing this for like an hour and 11 minutes now, but it still kind of flew by with some good discussion tonight. So,
yeah.
Anyways, let's recap real quick. Tonight, here in about 45 minutes or so, we will be doing our Psycho watch along. So hop on the Patreon at the $5 tier. If you are not there already, we will be watching that. Come join us in the voice chat on our Discord, and we'll all be hanging out watching a good classic horror movie that he has never seen, and I'm eager for him to watch it. It's a good movie.
What's Psycho? I've never seen this movie.
It's good. The way it was shot, there's so many things in there. There's one shot in particular, and you'll know it when you see it, but it's so good. I love it. Anyway, so that is happening here in about 45 minutes. October 27th is going to be the marquee where we will be tier ranking horror villains. So if you are part of the Patreon, I should have that list up on the Discord. I'll probably get it up here in a little bit. Or just someone remind me before we do the watch along, and I'll just copy and paste the entire list over there. But yeah, even if you're at the $1 tier, you can find out what that list is. Go watch some of those movies if you don't know who those villains are or just how bad they actually are. Go watch some of those movies and come join us live in the chat for the marquee on the 27th, 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern. And I believe that is all that we have coming up.
Real quick, we got some sad breaking news. Paulie died.
Who?
Paulie from Rocky. Burt Young.
Burt Young died? Oh.
Burt Young passed away. 83.
Oh, that sucks.
He was up there in age, but yeah. Rest in peace, Paulie.
God, I loved him in the Rocky movies. Even though his character, let's be honest, his character is really super annoying sometimes. He played it so well.
He was a lot of the heart in the movies at times too.
He was the realism in that movie, I would say. Because I know like Rocky himself had the lofty goals of being a boxer, going the distance, being all that he can be type of thing. And then you had Adrian, who was very rooted with what she was doing. And then you had Paulie, who was the only person who was really there between everyone else's life and personality. He just kind of like hung out with them, but he was like the human aspect of both of their personalities. Yeah. Even though I would say Adrian had a very strong humanistic personality as well. She was also at times caught up in the world of Rocky and all that superstar glitz and glamour. Especially if you look through the movies, how she started like meek and quiet in the first one and then became a powerful voice by the 5th one. So
yeah, that's a sad one, but fortunately it happens to all of us eventually. So yeah, there you go. Rest in peace, Paulie.
Burt Young, yes. Anyways, that is going to do it for tonight. So thank y'all all for watching live. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you have not already. Like my brother said, we are closing in on 2,000. Let's hit that 2,000 pretty soon. I know we missed out on some trailer reactions over this past week and stuff, so we will be hitting those as we can. So yeah, make sure you follow, subscribe. If you are watching this on a replay, make sure you also hit that like button. Give us some comments down below. What did you think? Do you have a differing opinion? like our opinions aren't necessarily correct, but they are our opinions. What's yours? I feel like I just channeled Sean Chandler there because I know he says that a lot. Anyways, let us know your thoughts and feelings down below in the comments. Make sure you follow us on social media. We are at The Cinefanatics on Twitter, X, whatever it is, and Instagram, and also TikTok at The Cinefanatics. So as we will be doing more short videos, rankings, and stuff like that, I'll get those pumped out to all the social media places so you can see them up there. Otherwise, you can follow me personally at Robert Adams MLP on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, and youtube.com/@RobertAdamsMLP.
And you can follow me at Chris Adams MLP on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd, as well as twitch.tv/ChrisAdamsMLP.
Anyways, that is going to do it for tonight. Thank y'all for watching, and we will see y'all hopefully here in a little bit if you're a part of the Patreon. Otherwise, we will see y'all next week for the tagline. Good night.
Bye.